feel like in the process of enjoying my time here, I feel like I've completely like slipped out of the version of myself that I truly want to be, which is like hardworking. And I'm not like not hardworking. I definitely still think I'm hardworking, but like diligent in my work. And I'm like, I want to get that back. I want to get my fitness routine back. I want to get my healthy eating and cooking and recipes side of me back. And all these sides of myself that I want to share with you guys, I feel like have kind of just disappeared. And I feel like my life is just consumed and not just work, but like work and the people here and the lifestyle here. And it's like, wait, I actually need a moment to like shut the outside world out and focus on myself. It's like, you know that TikTok sound where it's like, it's me season or something like that. It's like, don't call me, don't text me. That is how I feel right now. And I felt like that, or I was in that season of my life, like after going through a pretty tough breakup about a year and a half ago. Wow, we're approaching 2 years on that breakup. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. It literally feels like yesterday. And I was like, okay, we're living our dream. And now I'm like, okay, I need to shut the world out and have my me season. So, okay. Do you feel like New York City infiltrates your ego? Like changes your perspective? Not 100% sure what you mean by that. I definitely think people here have big egos. I'm trying to think. Does it change your perspective? Did it change my perspective on what? I feel like New York City has changed me in a lot of ways, just in a sense of like living in New York. If you can afford to live in New York, you will see just how crazy wealthy people can be. And I didn't grow up in a city like New York City, and so just the amount of money that's here can honestly be definitely like alter your perspectives. But also New York City is a city full of some very unhappy people, and I think it's grown me a lot in a sense of I very much recognize like money does not buy happiness, because there are people making millions of dollars every year and are sad and overworked and depressed. Oh my goodness. So I don't know. It's definitely, New York has been an incredible experience. But it also wears you down. Does it distract you from what's important? Yeah, I feel like that. Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I feel like New York City definitely distracts you from yourself. And by that, I mean, and it's like a good and a bad thing at times, because sometimes when you're too focused on yourself, you know, you're not looking out for other people or being there for other people or engaging with other people. And like I feel like you need that balance of like your time focusing on yourself, but also like focusing on others and being in a community and like having friends in that. But I feel like it really pushes you in this direction of like, oh, I see like you compare yourself to everybody. Oh my gosh, that's like the worst part of New York City is like how much you compare yourself to other people. Like you see somebody that got a promotion, it's like, okay, I need to go get a promotion. Or you see somebody who makes more money than you and you're like, how do I get a job where I can make more money? Or you see somebody with a new designer bag and you're like, well, if that's the bag that's trending, like I guess I need to go get that bag. Like it's stuff like that, where at the end of the day it's all materialistic, it's all pretty trivial to me. Like I feel like money and materialism is very trivial, but that is the culture of what it's like to live in New York. You're constantly comparing yourself to somebody who has more than you, and just never being satisfied with what you have, which is really tough for me because I'm a Christian, and I feel like being grounded in that. Like, I have to believe that God's going to take care of me and he's going to provide for me and he is enough. And that is the hardest thing to believe sometimes in New York City. So, are you an original native New Yorker, or are you a transplant? Because I'm a transplant, so I also think, like, from outside looking in perspective, it's definitely different. And it also really has to do too with, like, if you grew up with people, you grow up around people who are in the same socioeconomic status, you grow up with people who have similar interests and like-mindedness, versus if you don't grow up here and then you move here and you kind of just get put in the middle of a bunch of people who might have a lot of money, might not have that much money, might be involved in this, that, and the other. Like, it's a lot less homogenous, and I feel like that's where I get this perspective. But I mean, everybody can have their own experience. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm not trying to hate on New York City. I'm just saying, like, it's been different than what I would have hoped for me personally. Native. Yeah, I feel like, and again, I don't want to speak, I'm just speaking for myself, but I also think, like, when you grow up somewhere, you grow up around people who are similar to you, versus me coming into New York City. I'm very different than everybody that I meet. You know, I'm not the same as anybody else. And so, yeah, I think that alters your perspective, and neither one's wrong. You agree with what I'm saying? You feel so left out. Yeah, I feel like also doing social media, am privy to a lot of different spheres. Like getting invited to an influencer event, or getting to be a part of a brand, I guess, event, or just things with a brand. You get to work with models, or you get to work with other influencers who have double the followers as you, or people that make so much more money than you, and it, like, makes you feel insignificant. And I feel like this can be anywhere, but I feel like it's exacerbated in New York City just because there is so much, like, everybody who's famous or wants to be famous, like, comes to New York or goes to LA. Like, it's very much that environment. And so I also think, like, I just came from, I don't want to say, like, a humble background, because I definitely, like, I grew up very comfortably in Texas, very suburban, normal upbringing, like, just standard American family, white picket fence, went to public school.